Hello, welcome to Oracle course. We will discuss the different aspects of Oracle course in the next set of videos. Now, those who are not familiar with the Oracle database, it might help you to know that Oracle is the most popular database used by the enterprises throughout the world. It's one of the most robust and scalable database and used to run a lot of critical functions of the companies. Now also Oracle, as it's the most popular and complicated database, there is a lot of demand in for IT professionals with Oracle expertise. So if you are an IT field or looking for a job in IT, it's it'd be very useful if you have good Oracle knowledge along with the regular database skills. Now, one thing is that if you know, let's say, if you know a good Oracle, then it is assumed that you know as you are a good database person. So that means even if someone is looking for a different database, for example, MySQL or SQL Server, sometimes you being even an Oracle database knowledgeable person can still be able to do those jobs quite efficiently. Um, so having said that, let's get started with those things. So what we have here is that we'll have a set of videos including this one where we'll talk about different components of Oracle. So this being our first video, we'll discuss or actually we'll go over on the brief overview of Oracle database. So let's write Oracle database. Now let's talk about first is what is database. So sometimes DB is a brief version of database. So I just said Oracle is what is database. So database is um, a system, you can say technology system, which stores data and allows different ways for that data to be retrieved, manipulated, etc., etc. So what are the different types of database? One is relational, another is hierarchy. Okay, excuse me if the spelling is wrong. And then there is something called, I think, network database. So these are, so relational, hierarchy are the main types. Now out of that, relational is pretty much as becoming a default database, and the different database in relations are like Oracle, IBM DB2, then SQL Server, you have MySQL, and then you have Sybase. So Oracle and probably DB2 are one of the oldest ones. SQL Server has been gaining ground ever since Microsoft got into the database. And MySQL is, since it's open source free, so a lot of small companies use also MySQL. So MySQL also is gaining quite popularity. So that's sort of the high level view of database. Now fundamentally, the core part of any database is something called a table, and sometimes they are denoted with this. So table stores data, and then the database has different components which allows you to retrieve those data in a way which you can use it effectively. So that's sort of at a very low level, that's what goes on. And the different features a database system provides, one is storage. So that means you store the data. Then there is retrieval, Then there is manipulation. It could be deletion of data, updation of data. Then it gives accessibility. What does accessibility mean? If let's say you have in a company financial information, you may not want to have that to be seen by let's say people whose job don't need them, or maybe you only want to access that because it's a sensitive information to the executive. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't want to expose everything to everybody. So that's because of data is sensitive, data is everything in a lot of times. So that's called accessibility, or more access control. Who can see what? Then there is security. So there is always hacker threats to access company data from outside. So then there is then there are other things like performance, scalability. What that means is that as your company grows, probably your data would be growing in the linear, or even in a multi-fold. So the database has to perform in a reasonably expectable manner, so that things don't become slow, which hampers your company's efficiency. So these are sort of high level things which any database vendor would provide through their database. So now in terms of so let's say in terms of database carriers, so let's use a different color for some variation. So let's talk about database carriers, database jobs or carriers. So there are one type of job is programmer slash developer, or maybe application developer, who develop applications using database, very data intensive applications. So they need to be able to program in different database languages, for example SQL or PLSQL, which is sort of an Oracle's procedural language. They have to know how to run the query faster, how to write good queries which run fast. Then there are DBAs. So DBAs are mostly it is like you can think of administrative role, where they take care of some of the aspects, like making sure the database is secure, making sure that database is accessibility, meaning the right people have the right access to information. Then they also take care of performance, scalability. In terms of security, they take care of they backup storage. For example, let's say if there is a storm or something, and all that machine there was a fire, let's say for example in the data center, and all your database is lost. So one of the DBA's job is to take backups on a regular interval, so that if the data gets lost, they can retrieve or they can restore. So anyway, so that's sort of DBA's jobs. And so these are mostly maintenance and administration of your database. So that the developers who can develop application based on the database can do their job, or if already a system is already has been rolled it out to the end users, meaning your different business users are using the application to access the data, then making sure they can they don't have any problems to access the database. It is all the time running, and etc. etc. So that's sort of the different types of database jobs. Then there are jobs which are sort of a little bit overlap of this, and maybe the business uses something called database analyst. So meaning they can open up data and put the data in SQL, and then Excel, and then do some analysis on the data. So So those are the different types of jobs. I think that sort of gives you a good overview. In the next section, we will start discussing on different components of the database.